Welcome to this short class on listening to the body. This is a beautiful topic to learn some simple ways that you can tune into your body today to hear some of the messages that it is sharing with you. And so you might be listening to this because you have a discomfort or possibly a question in life that you really would like the answer to. Well, this is really going to help just simplify things and get you in touch with your body so that you can feel confident in your decision makings and so that you can alleviate any stagnant energy that might be causing you a bit of discomfort. So my name is Kiva and I'm the director of Elemental Empress Medicine. I share medicine through fire, air, earth, and water to share the truth behind healing, how we can simply heal ourselves. And I love the truth of things. And when we come back to the body, we can fool ourselves sometimes in the mind, in speaking, things like that, but the body does not lie. It always reveals what needs to be shared. Would you like to be able to heal yourself is the real root or the real beauty of being able to connect with yourself on a deep level. Essentially, you are awakening your tools to physically heal yourself from anything. Doesn't matter how complex it is, you have manifested this in your energetic body and your physical body. And that's not to lay blame or anything like that. We are here as a human experience to find balance and to, make mistakes and to experience being in a physical body. So it's nothing wrong in a sense that if you know that you have manifested it and that's okay, it's a learning experience. Obviously, then you are the expert. You are the most well-equipped person to alleviate that ailment because you have manifested it. So you have all the answers. That being said, it is hard to go into the depths of it and see clearly by yourself. So sometimes it's helpful to have a guide to explore these kinds of things. When we come through and we really see that we have manifested it and we have the power to make change happen, this unravels so much beauty and personal power within ourselves, and we feel more confident in who we are, our purpose in life, all of these really great things. So for the energy body, we have ailments manifesting energetically before they arise in the physical body. This is an important thing to note for healing yourself, for tuning into your body. Over time, if you manifest the skill of listening to the physical body and altering your thoughts, altering your life, your habits to realign your physical body so that you start to feel better. So this could be eating better foods, it could be doing a kind of exercise that you're craving, maybe stretching or listening to what your body needs and taking action on that. You'll then start to become more sensitive to the energetic body. And for me, having done this for many years now, I can feel imbalances in the energetic body before they even get to the physical body. So I'm able to rebalance them energetically so that I don't have to have them all the way in the physical body to share that message with me. I can receive the message in the energy body. And how this works is that we're thinking these thoughts, we're manifesting our reality all the time from the things that we're thinking and the things that we're feeling. And this all accumulates and manifests our energetic body. And it's the things that we give repetition to. So we repeatedly think that thought, we repeatedly do that action, we repeatedly feel in that way about those things, or we get triggered by our different things in our environment, showing our different issues that we're having with ourselves. And over through that repetition, the energy then gets denser and denser. And then it reaches the level of density where it resonates with the physical body, and then it manifests as a physical ailment. And then the message becomes clearer and clearer in the physical body. Sensations within the physical body increase in intensity until we listen. So even when it gets all the way to the physical body, we can still resist it with medication or suppression or numbing, disassociation from the physical body. We do these things so that we don't have to listen. We maybe don't know how to listen, or that it is important to listen. And so the body will increase in intensity. So what might be a little bit of a tinge in your knee, a bit of a twist, then turns into a big pain and you can't walk, and then turns maybe into a dislocation, into like knee surgery. So like it will keep going on, and we have these things for all areas in the body. Could have some pressure in the chest, and then some pain in the chest, and then the heart giving out at times. Like things like this, we see this progression, and the illness has gone all the way from the energetic body into the physical body. It's been in the physical body a while. It wants us to listen. It wants us to listen, and then it increases. And often with that, we we increase the risk, I suppose. The more we don't listen, we the intensity of the experience, the intensity of the learning increases, because we are needing to make big shifts in life to shift the energy the more we don't listen. So what happened in the beginning in the energetic body was a small energetic shift, maybe speaking to yourself in a different way, or getting outside to ground in nature so that you can receive more insight from your higher self. Like that's in the energetic body, that's what you're being called to do. But then it might get all the way into the physical body where you're having problems with your root chakra, your lower legs, and you're feeling really disconnected. Your mind is spinning. So the imbalance has kind of increased in intensity over time, and therefore, obviously, the road back to being balanced, or it's really the road forward, but the road to being in alignment with yourself is a bit longer, the longer we don't listen to ourselves. And all of this encapsulated really encompasses that we can heal ourselves with the mind and the body and the energies, and for what I share, the elements, fire, air, earth, and water. So how can you hear the messages that your body wishes to share with you? We have meditation, so coming into the present moment is a vital step to being open to receive the wisdom your body and the world around you wishes to share. And the reason I do body scanning meditations is because that it is grounding in the physical body, and it's a practice to understand that different energies and different parts of the body feel different. And hearing the messages when starting out, if there's a disconnect from the body, it can just be like, my body feels like this. Then doing the body scanning meditations, tuning into the different parts of the body, it then gets easier to pinpoint where the energy is actually stagnating. So actually asking the question, if I'm saying like, I feel a lot of grief right now, asking like, where in the body do I feel that grief? And then we can tune into that energy, and we can sink deeper and deeper when we become more attuned with our physical anatomy and physiology, and what our internal organs look like, where they are, and then where the energy is stagnating, and then unraveling more the messages and what that means. That can all happen in a meditative state. And why this is important, and why meditation is, it's a big word. I mean, lots of people use it for different reasons, but to simplify it in this context and hearing messages from your body, a lot of the messages are in the subconscious mind, and we can access them more easily when we're in different kinds of brain waves. So if you have used hypnosis, this is a similar thing where you're getting into the subconscious mind to reprogram your thoughts. And with the body, it's the same thing. We can receive the messages when we relax, when we're able, we get those aha moments maybe when we are in nature, we're tuning in, or just when we wake up in the morning, something pops in. And it's because we are in those more relaxed states of being. And through meditation and scanning the body, clearing out the mind, we can access those spaces and therefore access the messages. And over time, this becomes so much easier. And so that's why I love the body scanning meditations. And I share some recordings of them on my web store for people to gain access to them, because they are so helpful. And when you get better at it, it just becomes more natural. So if you're just sitting in a coffee shop with a journal and you want to tune into a part of your body, it's not as much work to like go all the way into the body scanning meditation and clear your mind. The pathway between you and your body is much shorter, so you can tune in real quick and ask the question and receive deep insight. Also, learning symbolic sight. This means learning the language of the body. When we begin to understand the body from a symbolic standpoint, the opportunity to shift energy and heal ourselves opens up. This is speaking to the fact that everything is connected and we can look at things from an internal symbolic standpoint. And often with ailments, we can avoid hearing the messages by projecting responsibility onto our external environment. What does all that mean? Well, when we blame other people for our problems, or we blame the physical circumstances around us for our problems, and it's not that they're not real, like they're obviously real and they're there and they're contributing to what's going on, but they're just a reflection of what's going on internally for you. So we want to bring it all the way back in. And how we do this in the beginning is we start to look at the physical parts of the body as symbolic. So what do they actually enable you to do? For example, a simple one, the heart space, is a lot of where our feelings are. And you can notice with other people and yourself, if you're saying something that is very close to your heart, your feelings, maybe you feel guarded about them, people will often cover their heart. They'll do this, or they'll do this, or they'll do this, they'll kind of cover in their shoulders. And so noticing those things about other people and yourself, you can start to see the relationship, the symbolic connection between the heart and feelings. And so this is the same with shoulders, and you'll notice with language, we already know this. It's just kind of bringing it into our conscious awareness rather than it being in our subconscious awareness. And that way we can utilize it more for our healing and for our introspection. So people with their shoulders will say, oh my goodness, I just have so much weight on my shoulders right now, like I'm taking on all this responsibility. And that can relate to the upper back, having problems with the upper spine. The lower back, the pelvis, that is related to the base, like the foundations of our life, just like it is the foundation of our body. The lower spine, if that gives out, if the lumbar spine, like we crumble, it's like the foundation is struggling. And so then we would look at the foundations in our life. And so we can see these symbolic connections that goes on and on for every single part of the body has this symbolic aspect to it. And when we know that, when we can learn that, we can learn so much about ourselves. And we need to step back in a sense from blaming the food that we're eating even, or that step that was there that day that we fell over, and taking it all the way back into ourselves. And that takes a minute to go from the outer world into the inner world. And so you can see here now how the meditation and the symbolic sight work really potently together, how they support each other. So firstly, we want to take a step back from the usual associations that the external world is creating your reality. This is not a small step, this is a big one, and this takes practice. You have to go back to it again and again and again that's like the problem is within the food that I ate that day. That's like the biggest one that I call people out on. I must have eaten something funny. And it's interesting because they'll even say that if they eat the same thing every day, or they've eaten something maybe off before and it hasn't affected them, and now they maybe eaten something and it has affected them. It's not to say that there wasn't something in the food, the external is there. It's more to say, like, take a breath with that, come back, see how you are struggling to digest life right now. You are struggling to digest what life is giving you, the life experience that is happening to you, with you, for you, whatever way you want to phrase it in that moment. There's a problem to digest. And the digestive system is related to fire. The stomach is just where the solar plexus chakra is, and that is where our I am, our personal power lies. So if we're struggling to integrate a change in our career, a change in our life purpose, our direction in life, when new experiences come at us, we're not aligned with like a structured way of sharing who we are with the world, our career, we might have these big questions. So anything else that comes in, it becomes much harder to digest. And so we want to look at it from that point of view, and then we can alleviate it from that space of, oh, okay, I want to come back to my own personal fire. What do I believe? What is my truth? How can I connect with my soul light and the messages I want to share with the world, so that I find all the stimulus that's coming to me easier to digest. Of course, as I've explained all that, like, it's quite a challenge to do that, and like tools are super important, and that's why I use the elements. They are like tools to help with this coming back into the internal world and coming back into the body. Having a reflective tool that supports you in introspecting to observe yourself. So finding something that feels good for you. I teach a lot about writing because it's very simple, accessible to everyone, and it has a massive scope for being a reflective tool. The meditation is also a reflective tool, and expression is also a reflective tool as well, like artwork, things like that, dance. Those forms of expression really help us to reflect and introspect on what's going on for us. The writing is a great way to slow things down, to be able to see the dialogue within the mind that's going on, and to take a step back. So we have that opportunity. With thoughts, they move so quickly, it can be hard to do the first step, which is taking the step back and going into the internal world. So with writing, we have it on the page and we can take a breath with it. And so that's why I teach the writing reflective tool. In the third step, we start to have a conversation with the parts of ourselves that are drawing the attention. And that is really helpful. As I was saying, when you get into the meditations, you start to be able to observe the specific parts of the body, and then marry that with the writing, we can start to tune into a physical part of the body. And so I have these sheets that are the different parts of the body, and I put the organ or the part of the body that is manifesting a sensation in the center of the page, and then the page is designed so that you can put the messages from that part of the body around it, and there's guidance on how to tune in. And so we can start to have conversations with the parts of ourselves that are throwing these things at us, the stomach, the legs, wherever it may be. We can start to unravel that when we step back into the internal world. We have the water element, which is super important. I mentioned the fire element there about the personal power. The water element surrounds this whole aspect, or this whole idea of the reflection. So your external world is a reflection of your internal world. And so when we use water in that way, we get the opportunity to start to see everything as a reflection of our internal energetic system. And the world is always revealing itself to you, and it is your learning space, it is your classroom. So what this means is that your relationships, like the ones that frustrate you, it's showing you things that frustrate you about yourself, or things that are wanting to be healed. And the same with the good things, like when we see things that we really enjoy as well, like the things that light us up, that's a reflection of our internal soul light, that internal fire. So if you notice, like if you walk through a bookstore and you look across all the different books, and a particular section in the bookstore always draws your attention, and then a certain book draws your attention, this is the light in you, that joy, that passion, that fire, those things that you're innately interested in. That's also a reflection of your internal light. So we're always getting reflections of kind of like our internal darkness and our internal light, and what we're learning, what we love. And it's nice to keep a balance between that in the introspective work. We want to always obviously be filling ourselves up with joy and love and happiness, so that when the darker stuff, the more challenging, frustrating, those kinds of emotions come along, we can learn from them and breathe into them. And so obviously the introspective journey sometimes can just be like, I want to look at all the things that I'm finding challenging and dig them up and heal them. And that's really helpful and beautiful to prevent spiraling into that and overwhelming oneself with their darker energies. It's great to balance that with the joy and with the light. So the water element really helps us with that, and coming back to the simple thing that the external world is a reflection of your internal world. That can go really deep, and it gets very individual for every person. So it's nice to just have that tagline almost to come back to, and to remember that that is what you're working with. You are your own best healer, as I mentioned in the beginning. No one else has spent a single day in your body, so you are completely the expert. And if someone doesn't make you feel like that, and they are your healthcare practitioner, it's a sign that the power is in their hands rather than in yours. So questions are really important. And neither of you really know where you're going when you go on the healing journey, because you are revealing it from yourself. Trust that you know your body, what your body is sharing with you, and this comes with the watery energy of intuition. And so this is really interesting because it's the opposite of the yang doing energy. It's the opposite of that fiery energy of getting things done, making things happen. The watery energy is intuition. It's like allowing and listening, the restoration and replenishment of the body. That is all what encapsulates water. And it's in those states that we really hear these messages that the body wants to share. And we see that reflection as well. The trusting that you know what your body is sharing with you, that is what I teach in a sense, because like it's not that your body needs to learn how to communicate with you or anything like that. It's like the messages are always coming, and in a sense, like you know what they are. It's really the work, if you like, is in trusting what you hear, trusting what you sense, and trusting that you are the expert and that you know yourself. It's from that trust, once we step into and embody that trust and that love for ourselves and that love for the journey, it just becomes natural to hear the messages and take action because we trust what we are hearing. And often with many things in society and the way that medicine is taught, it's that we constantly should not trust ourselves because we don't know enough, and we have to keep asking questions of someone who knows more than we do. And so we're reversing all of that. We're kind of like spinning it back in towards ourselves with this practice. What are action steps that you can take today to really listen? What can you do today to listen to your body? What I would recommend is really to take time to get into a restorative state. And so taking time out in nature is the simplest way that I can offer to understand this or to embrace listening to your body. When in nature, we ground into the physical body. And so it's a lot to ask sometimes. If I was to ask you, like now, after watching this, it stimulated your mind, or you might be working, then to just drop in and listen to the body when you're not used to it can be very hard. So the first step would be to go out into nature and put your feet on the earth, maybe go for a swim in a lake or in the ocean, having time out in nature, grounding yourself, and then taking a moment to sit, and then just move your awareness from your head to your toes over your body, and then from your toes to your head. Just noticing how your body feels, bringing some words to mind. Maybe you feel tired or energized or excited or hyped, like just noticing how the body feels, noticing those words and allowing them to come to yourself, and then asking yourself, like, where in the body is drawing your attention, and opening up those channels of communication. So this is an explorative observing after you've grounded in nature. And the third step that you can take then is to ask your body, what message would you like to share with me today? And I invite you to do this every day for 7 days. If you want to, do a basic challenge, just do it for the week. Every day, have the same time of day to put your feet on the earth and ask your body, what message would you like to share with me today? And you can extend that to a full 30 days, a full month. If you really want to dive in, if you really want to tune in and manifest a skill of tuning into the body, putting the feet on the earth, observing, and then asking that simple question, what does my body want to share with me today? And see what answers come through. Write them down in your journal or in a note on your phone, and see how each day, what comes through, what happens. And that will be super interesting. Feel free to send that on to the email here, elementalempressmedicine@gmail.com, the different messages that your body is sharing with you. If you have any questions, do get in touch. The webpage there, elementalempressmedicine.com, has a fantastic blog that goes into the different ways that you can use the elements as medicine and how ultimately that connects you with your body. So if you enjoy reading, there is tons on there that can support you. And I share a lot on LinkedIn. So I have a LinkedIn group, and that's where I share free group classes and lots of other free great things and paid offers as well, different courses and group coaching things. So be sure, if you're on LinkedIn, to connect with me and let me know that this is how you found me, and I will add you into the Elemental Empress Medicine private group where all of these amazing resources are shared. Thank you so much for sharing your time. I hope this was helpful, and I see you again soon.